That is loud. Alright, so, yeah, I'm going to be explaining why I haven't been on much at all. And, maybe you're interested, maybe you're not. Maybe I care, maybe I don't. But here we go. Okay, so we're going to start out with my wife, Teresa. She's in the room behind me resting after a surgery that she had yesterday. We spent quite a few hours at the hospital yesterday. Her surgery went well. They removed a chunk out of her throat. So, no cancer, thank goodness. But I'm going to tell the story as it unfolded over the course of the last 6 months and why she had her throat operated on yesterday. And no, they didn't cut her externally. They cut her open internally. William is in with her right now, and she's just resting. She has to rest for about 48 hours before she can do menial tasks. She's not allowed to pick up anything more than 10 pounds. So if she wants to hold William, then I have to pick him up and hand him to her, and then she can hold him or whatnot. Breastfeeding is off the table until later today because of the general anesthesia that she had and the narcotics that they gave her. So she had to do yes, she's still breastfeeding at almost 16 months. She wants to go to 2 years, which I agree with. If, she can go that far, that'd be great. And then wean him off at 2 years old because, he's obviously going to be talking and it just gets a little weird after 24 months old. In my opinion. So I'm talking a little softer now because I actually have my hearing aids in. If you didn't know, I got hearing aids from Costco just the other day. I did that because, let's face it, I couldn't hear a dump truck drive through a nitroglycerin plant. If you know what movie that's from, you can put that in the comments section below. That's fine. So 6 months ago, Teresa ended up with a sore throat. And she goes to the doctor, just a regular family doctor, and the doctor's like, oh, well, you've got some kind of an infection going on there. So maybe they said it was a virus. I don't know. It was something anyways. They gave her some antibiotics. She takes the antibiotics, and the sore throat goes away for a couple of weeks, and then it comes back. So she goes back to the doctor, and the doctor's like, well, it's a sore throat. Whatever. It'll go away on its own because the antibiotics were working. Just give your body a chance to fight it and it'll go away. So what happens then is we go to North Carolina and we bale straw. Now, baling straw is a dusty job, dirty. If you're outside the machine or much, then you're going to be ingesting that dust and it's going to congregate at the back of your throat, making your throat even sorer than what it is. But Teresa has a high tolerance of pain, like myself, and she just was like, whatever, it's a sore throat, doctor says it's going to go away. Well, it doesn't go away, and we're there for 2 months, almost 2 months, about 7 weeks, doing that job. We come back, she's like, hey, this isn't going away, and they refer her to a ear, nose, and throat specialist, I believe is what they would call her. And she says, hey, yeah, this is just a sore throat. Here's some antibiotics. So I gave her a different type of antibiotic, and that was in, I'm going to say maybe August, September. Didn't do shit. Just made it feel a little better, but it never went away. So she goes back to the ear, nose, and throat specialist, and she's like, hey, I got this problem. She's like, well, it's because of the antibiotic and it went away. We're not going to give you any antibiotics. So just deal with it. It'll go away on its own. If it doesn't, come back. So she goes back and the doctor scopes her. I think gave her another regimen of antibiotic, but didn't work. And then we end up on the eastern shore of Maryland and Virginia down in the Delmarva, working on this corn fodder job starting in the first part of September. And, she's working, doing her thing, back and forth a few days here and there. She had some orders and stuff that needed to be done for the embroidery business that we have going on here. So if you need embroidery done, obviously you can contact us and we'll do your job for you. And it can be big, it can be small, it's fine. Somebody just sent me a Yeah, so so Mr. Fitzpatrick is waving at me here. So I'll have to wave back at him later. Those are my mom. Okay, so I have an issue at the house, my mom and dad's house. I'm going to deal with that. So anyways, back to Miss Theresa here. So we're down there, we're working, and her throat's getting worse. She comes up to New Jersey. Did she come to New Jersey? No, she didn't come up to New Jersey. She's there, and she's complaining. I said, listen, just go to the hospital. Just go to the damn hospital. I'm tired of listening to you complain about this thing. It's obviously the doctor in New Jersey is a lousy doctor. Just can't get this shit together. And I'm annoyed, I mean, we're trying to work, and she's complaining about her throat, which is, and I'm not being unsympathetic. It's just, if you're going on with this thing for like 6 months, it's time to find a different doctor. And I was probably not the nicest to her, and I should have been a little more supportive, but I wasn't. I was. I was just like, hey, honey, you really need to go get another doctor and have this checked out. And she was not doing it. So, well, she was, but she wasn't. She's like, you're not a doctor, you don't know. Well, I'm not a doctor, but I used to take care of animals, and people really aren't that different from dairy cattle. They're just not. I can diagnose and cure or heal certain things with cows, from mastitis to ketosis and all that stuff. Anything, yeah. I could actually do surgery on cows by the time we were done with dairy. I never did it because I didn't have the drugs to do so, but I did assist in many DAs and things like that as time went by. I was pulling up on the pig's ear and everything, by the time we were done doing that. But anyways, milking cows is something that I wouldn't wish upon anybody. And it's a lifestyle that if it paid you enough, it'd be great. But if it doesn't pay you enough, so you're basically tied to a bunch of animals that will die at will and everything else. So anyway, she wasn't happy with me. So I sent her back to New Jersey, and I said, listen, just go back to that doctor and you demand a throat culture and something to get this throat under control. She's like, well, fine. So she takes off for New Jersey. She comes up. She's got the appointment on I think it was the 3rd of November. Yeah, I think it was the 3rd of November. We were still down there. And, we're still down there working. She comes up. She gets her diagnosis. And the doctor says, we're going to remove your tonsils. And because you have what they call chronic tonsillitis. Well, knowing my wife, I'm like, yeah, right. They're not going to remove these things. Not without a fight, because she likes to keep her stuff, like internal stuff. She wants them. She was born with it. She's going to keep it. So anyway, she's not happy with this diagnosis because she doesn't feel that the doctor really did a thorough job. So about 2 weeks ago, she goes in for a CT scan. It was 2 weeks ago, maybe not even 2 weeks ago. Yeah, a week and a half ago. 2 weeks ago. CT scan. She goes for the CT scan. CT scan, they put some kind of fluid into her, which turned her arm a brilliant blue. And the guy doing the CT scan was like, ooh, that's new. Apparently it doesn't happen to people, but she had rolled up her sleeves instead of taking off her shirt because she's Filipina and it's cold here and she doesn't like being cold. Cut the circulation off, turned her arm blue. Whatever. They fixed it. Took her shirt off and it went away. And she got her CT scan. So on Monday, this past Monday, we went to Overview. I met with the doctor for the first time. Seemed like a wonderful person. Seems like she knows what she's doing. I had researched her. And to be quite honest with you, if she was just exclusive to the Hunted and Murder Center, I would not have allowed Theresa to have her operation there. I would have taken her somewhere to like St. Luke's or something in Quakertown or Doylestown or even up to Lehigh Valley because they do more surgeries there. But this woman started out in Florida, and she's actually affiliated with 5 different hospitals in which she practices out of, which is nice because, it means that she is actually doing these types of surgeries all the time. So we go through the CT scan, which basically I got to see inside my wife's body. There were a couple of lymph nodes that were a little large, just two, one in her on her right side here, and on her right side. Her left side was what was really sore, but on her right side she had an enlarged lymph node, and on her left side, nearly to her chest, was another lymph node that was enlarged. Not super large, but large enough that they took note of them. And they're like, nah, I wouldn't worry about them if they do pop up. And of course now she's like this and this, digging at them to see if she can feel them. And she did say that her chest hurt before they discovered this lymph node being slightly enlarged. Now we're talking 1 millimeter, 1 millimeter, centimeter, not millimeter, centimeter, 1 centimeter. So you're talking 10 millimeters is 1 centimeter. So 3/8, a little larger than 3/8 of an inch is 10 millimeters. So, about 3/8 of an inch. Let's just call it that, 3/8 of an inch. That's the size of it, which is like that. And, it's not like there's a whole team of them that are enlarged, just those two, and they're not next to one another. They're kind of here or here, like this. And, so that was kind of, that's alarmed her, which I'm not too thrilled about. She's had this infection going on in her neck, which your lymph nodes are like little filters, and they kind of get enlarged within a cold or an illness or thing. So she's got this going on. So that kind of, the doctor ran a scope down her nose, and they're like, okay, where does it hurt? And the doctor pushed on the very bottom of the tonsil on her right side, because there are delabat too, and she about threw up, and she said that was really bad, that really hurt. So the doctor's like, listen, they're bad, they've got to come out. You can't just live with them like this. If you're going to have a chronic sore throat that could turn bad. I mean, these things could get really infected and cause major problems, like strep throat would be prevalent, even though that's what your tonsils are, your first line of defense in sicknesses, illnesses, viruses, bacteria. But she says you actually have what you call tonsil stones, and tonsil stones are something I've never heard of. A lot of people that I know have never heard of them. Like, that's just hokey bullshit. But tonsil stones are particles of food that get embedded into your tonsils, then become calcified and hard, like a stone, so they call them tonsil stones. So she scheduled the surgery, back in November for the 6th of December. Today is December 7th, and December 7th is Pearl Harbor Day, I guess you would call it. The significance of this date. But yesterday she went in, she had her tonsils removed. The doctor came to me in the waiting room and said, yeah, she had a lot of little tonsil stones in there. And I'm like 5 or no, a lot. She says, I think she's going to feel a lot better once she heals from this surgery. Well, she's in there sucking on ice cubes. I got her some Jello and cool water. William, I can hear his, she's got him next to her for a little while. I'm going to take him over to my mom so I can get some work done today. But yeah, she's got to really rest for 48 hours. So anybody that was concerned about Theresa, that was the diagnosis. Oh, I skipped a part. While we were in Virginia, and I sent her to the hospital, or the doctors, and they said go to the hospital. She goes to the hospital. Hospital tells her it's a mass. You have a mass in your throat. And she was like scared. Well, what's a mass? And the guy's like, oh, cancer. It's cancer. So the dude down in Virginia on the Eastern Shore, you got to go to that hospital. What's the name of that town? It's not Painter. It's north of Painter, Virginia. Onley. Onley. O-N-L-E-Y. Onley. Onley. There's a hospital in Onley. There's better hospitals, believe me. Not that they're terrible. I mean, I'm sure they can fix broken legs and have babies and stuff there, but for the most part, they tell your wife that she's got a mass in her throat and say that it's cancer when she has a simple case of chronic tonsillitis. Yeah, if you got bigger problems, get the hell off the Eastern Shore. Go to Philadelphia, go someplace. Philadelphia's not really that far. It's 3 hours. 3.5 hours. Or 2.5 hours, 3 hours. So anyway, with that being said, I think 15 minutes is long enough on this thing. Theresa is healing. She's doing well. She will be back up and running in the next couple, 4, 5, 10 days, probably 10 days before she's recovered enough that she can go back to doing her daily routines and things like that. So Christmas is coming, yeah, and we don't have a Christmas tree because we've been dealing with this stuff. I said to her the other night, do you want a Christmas tree? She's like, the hell with it. So I'm going to have to go get a Christmas tree because she's just done with it, and she just doesn't feel good. But anyways, that's the explanation on my wife, Theresa. She's going to do okay, and there was no cancer, thank God, and that's it. So hopefully in the next couple days I can get my camera going again, and you can see what's going on at the farm. But until then, see ya.